we're going to enable the buyer to basically move from one home to the other with little out-of-pocket money going towards down payment or closing costs.
Welcome to the next episode of We Fixed Real Estate. Today we have a special guest on the show, Quin from Flyhomes. He's going to go over his unique product that allows you to become a cash buyer and its relationship to Arrivva. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Drew, for having me. And hi, Fred. Good. Thank you for inviting me. But no, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be able to speak about Flyhomes and how we are in the market to change how home sellers are transacting out there and getting into their new home. We've come up with the buy before sell type of transaction where we're looking to get you into your new home before you sell your existing property. A lot of advantages to this, including buying a home that checks all the boxes, not having to get pushed into a new home because you've gone under contract, just ease of marketing on your property once you move out. We've surveyed a few listing agents out there, and oftentimes they'll tell you, if that house was empty, I could get a better offer. So, right now we're saying to borrowers out there, this is a time for you to be able to find your next home, get in, and your listing agent will be pleased to, show your home as a blank canvas. That alone will help pay for the cost of the program in itself because it's going to bring a better offer. So you can offset costs with a better offer on the home because it's empty.
Yeah, and I want to say something just so people understand the vernacular. The words swing loan, bridge loan, it's all the same. And this is what Chris is talking about. We're bridging you and by helping you buy the new house before you sell the old one. Or it's a swing loan where we're swinging the money ahead of time for the first one. So those are synonymous, those words. The words you'll hear are cross collateralization. It sounds heavy and all that. But basically when Chris makes these bridge loans to buy the new house before you sell the old one, they put mortgages against both properties. So when you sell the old house, that mortgage comes off usually because you'll pay it off at that point. Or a combination of that and maybe a refinance of the primary residence, the new primary. There's all kinds of detail, and I'm not trying to confuse everybody. I'm just trying to tell you the devil is in the details, and every single situation is going to be a little bit different. But let me quiz you on this, Chris. So let's say we got just to make up some numbers. A new buyer wants to buy a house for $2 million. Mm-hmm. He's got a house worth $1 million with a $200,000 first mortgage on it. And he's got $300,000 in physical cash he can use for a down payment. Using those numbers, give a person what you can do, assuming everything appraises and all that kind of good stuff, mm-hmm. and what it's going to cost them.
Sure. So, under that situation, we could go, what's your new purchase price? I'm sorry.
$2 million.
Yeah. I mean, we can go up to 105% of that purchase price on a new loan. So if I was to say to your buyer, we'll lend you $2.1 million to buy that $2 million home. And the reason why we're going over it is there's closing costs involved with everything. Now we're financing that as well, short term. We're going to enable the buyer to basically move from one home to the other with little out-of-pocket money going towards down payment or closing costs. Where the details come in is everything's being predicated on you selling your departing residence. Once that home sells, you will then be required to pay down this mortgage at the sale of your departing residence so that we would release the lien off of the departing residence, because we are going to lien both properties. So at the outset, we will explain that, with the sale of your departing home, we are going to require this much of a pay down on our loan of $2.1 million to release the lien. The remaining balance will be left open for you to decide how you want to take care of it, either in the form of a rate term refinance, setting your long-term financial goals with a mortgage that you can pay and feel comfortable with, which means you may be applying more proceeds from the sale of your departing residence to pay down this balance even further and getting into a rate term refinance that you're comfortable with. That's where you're working with your mortgage loan officer to discuss these details and what it would look like. You asked about cost. Very good question. All of the loans that Flyhomes originates, we do charge an interest-only number of 9.99%. It is interest only, and we do not take a payment. So while the loan is outstanding, you will be accumulating on a daily basis at 9.99%. And the whole idea being, get your home that you are leaving sold as quickly as possible so that you'll stop paying the 9.99%. As far as upfront costs are concerned, if you are to finance all of that money, that 2.1 million, or over 90% of the new home's purchase price, we will charge a fee for that. In addition to, it will be 1.5%. And then you'll have a broker fee, more than likely, from your loan officer to get you into that new home. If you do come up with some money to put down and you can constitute a 10% down payment, I will lower my origination fee to 1%.
There you go. Okay. Yeah. And our broker fee is just the simple $5,750. So we're fixed price on that. Now that's kind of the typical swing loan. There's some other programs Chris has that are fabulous. And one of them I'm kind of playing with now, assuming we'll get this thing straightened out. Okay. There's a rule for Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae says, if your problem is you're trying to buy a new house, but because you have your old house mortgage payment, it brings your ratio too high, above 50%. Let's say you're doing a conventional loan. Chris has this program where they will guarantee to buy your current resident at a reduced price, of course. But the great thing about this is, based on Fannie Mae's rules and the way their contract's written, the underwriter then does not have to count that payment against you. So if you have the money for the down payment and all that kind of stuff, but your ratio is high, the idea is you pay a flat fee. It's either $2,500 or $5,000. And Chris, you can explain the difference. And then they will guarantee that they'll buy your house at a lower price than the market price, but it's like 6 months later. It's just something to get you into the new house. Although you'll still have a mortgage payment on the old house. So you're still going to have a lot of debt to pay. So realize that, but it's a means to an end. And after he explains this, we're going to go into the really good program. But go ahead, Chris.
So that is our guaranteed backup contract, Brad. And basically it is just that. It is a backup contract. It is a delayed purchase contract. We're going to give you 6 months to sell your property once you acquire your new property. It is a below market offering. And as far as costs are concerned for this contract to enter into, if our contract price is $500,000 or less for your new home, it'll be $2,500. If it's $1 million or less, it goes up to $5,000. And there is a level in there at $750 where we'll be at $3,500. So that kind of money is now going to eliminate your debt to income issue that you're having on your new purchase financing, because all the debt that is on your departing residence is being eliminated from the debt to income calculation on your new mortgage. So the underwriter will just eliminate that. You'll have this contract as part of the underwriting file, and you're going to be moving into your new home because you just met your DTI threshold. It is a 6-month delayed purchase. So it's our hope that between you and your listing agent, you can feel confident that that home will be sold in 6 months. Oftentimes, we've bought, I think, 1, 2, 3 maybe homes over the past 4,000 that we've done. So it really, are we ever pressed into having to buy that home? We'll do everything we can not to buy that home, to be honest with you. If we see after 4 or 5 months that home hasn't gone under agreement, we're going to be making some calls, talking to the listing agent, talking to the homeowner, coaching them up a little bit more, maybe suggesting they do another open house. Maybe they consider a price drop a little bit. There's got to be someone between what we're willing to pay for that home and where you're listing that home that will buy your home. So it's just finding that person in the middle to get it sold.
Cool. Now, here's my favorite program. So if you're looking to buy in Bellevue, San Francisco, Cupertino, or those types of places where single-family detached houses with great schools goes off the shelf in about 15 minutes, this is a great program. So if I have a buyer, I will go and they will get their fully underwritten pre-approval either by me, Wells Fargo, whomever. We take the application, the credit report, that's pre-approval, send it to Chris, and Chris will approve the product. And this is not any extra money or anything anybody comes up with. So people know they're going to put their regular down payment. So, but instead of going to Wells Fargo to get your mortgage, it takes 15 days, and you have, even if you waive the mortgage contingency, the seller still knows you're getting a mortgage and things can happen. So what Chris's program is you become a cash buyer. They basically say, look, we know you're fine. You're going to be able to get a mortgage down the road after closing. So we're going to give you the money up front and make you a cash buyer, because the agreement that we give to the seller and seller's agent says that if this buyer doesn't close, Flyhomes is going to close on this property for that price. So the seller at this point has a better offer from the Flyhomes deal than a cash buyer, because the cash buyer could just walk. These guys are saying they're going to buy the property. So you go in, you're now a cash buyer. You close in 10 days. You still have to give all the documentation to Chris for income and assets. That's federal law. Anybody giving out an owner-occupied loan has to document income. And we go to closing. The 10 days is ones we've done, it's no problem. You close, and then at the close of escrow, the next minute, you then call Wells or me or whomever, refinance their mortgage, get rid of it, because you're paying 9.99%. You don't want to do that anymore.
None of our loans have prepayment penalties. In fact, we want to get paid off the next day.
And you don't have payments either, right?
Correct. There's no payment on any of our loans. They just accumulate interest over the time that it's outstanding. So we like to use the word cash-like, because saying cash is a little misleading in the fact that we're showing up to the table with a mortgage and a lien and everything else, but we're there in 10 days. There's no appraisal contingencies. There's no contingencies whatsoever. We're ready to go. And it's all predicated on your mortgage loan officer's ability to pre-approve you and submit that documentation to our underwriting department.
Gotcha. The cost of that, if I remember correctly, is 1% of the loan amount.
1%. Now, we have changed the guideline a little bit since you've used it last. It does require a 10% down payment. So we're not doing it now at 5% anymore. So 10% down payment, no government product. It's all Fannie Freddie.
Fannie Freddie. Okay. Yeah. And plus we charge our broker fee on the $57.50 on top of the 1%. And there's a couple of little charges like the credit report, tax service fee, flood service.
Yep. Your normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it has won us deals where, in addition to getting the thing done in 10 days and the lender saying they will buy the house if the buyer doesn't show up, the other beautiful thing with this you have to do is be at the right price. So in these crazy bidding wars, I mean, it just stands out, and it's a wonderful product.
And what a savvy buyer and mortgage broker will do is, you'll get your offer tentatively accepted, and then you'll ask the seller to increase it by a few thousand and have them pay the closing costs.
We can do that.
Yep.
Usually our buyers, it's not a big deal. But yeah, it's good to know it's available. And you can do it. We're in Washington and California. Pennsylvania, Florida, and Texas for mortgages. So it'll work in all those states, correct?
It will. Correct.
Okay. Can you tell us anything a buyer or a seller should know that's been a horror story on your end that could have been prevented? I know I'm kind of throwing that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Really nothing's sticking out because we close these so fast. I think more problems occur when there's a longer period between contract and closing date. But as far as, any bad stories that I can think of, nothing's really sticking out. And just to give you a little background, I've been with the company since April of last year. I came from a company that did this type of lending as well. That's well known in the mortgage field. But I've loved this bridge products, and I came here because I felt as though Flyhomes definitely had the best products when it came to bridge lending, and some of the least expensive ones too.
Yeah, it really is. We've looked at others, and they're 2.5 points, and it's insanity. This product's the cheapest, easiest, best product, and they only do wholesale. So you have to go through a mortgage person originate it, which is easier for them, not having to deal directly with the consumers on these.
Correct.
It's just better.
we deal with like minds.
Yeah. So we deal with you consumers, but we're happy to do that.
We leave that to you.
They have a great array of products, and don't be scared of these things. As long as you're going to do the right thing for your existing home, go over a plan with your agent or us, if we're your agent, about pricing and what you're going to do and how, once you get out of the property, they can clean it, they can digitally stage it, they can regularly stage it. Mm-hmm. It's just easier for buyers to buy a house like that. It's really what it is.
Yep. And just to revert back to your other question previously, I didn't really have any thoughts about. I think that is where more of the troublesome would occur, where you've got a homeowner that's just chasing a market that's just unrealistic in their eyes for a sales price. So you have to have the right frame of mind that you're going to sell your home. Every home will sell in a market as long as it's priced correctly. So as long as you're not pricing it incorrectly and you're chasing a dragon, you'll be fine.
Drew, as a consumer,
No, it's very interesting. I think it'd be helpful to the listeners. We talked on very high abstract and a lot of percentage terms. Maybe walk us through the sale of a $1 million house and the purchase of an equivalent house. Because you went from 1 million to 2 million, and
they're buying a $2 million house, they're selling a 1 million.
You're selling it. That's a large price increase. Like typically you kind of sidestep from one house to something roughly the equivalent.
Well, you bought a house 10 years ago for 600. Now it's worth $1 million, and you got a better job, more money, and you're buying a 2 million. You got now 3 kids, you need more bedrooms.
Okay. The numbers make sense. I thought it'd be nice to walk someone through a little more visually or verbally.
Well, I'm trying to think how I can accomplish that for you, but we're traditionally going to sell your home. Mm-hmm. And once that occurred at a closing table, you were going to be given proceeds from the sale of your property. And then you were going to walk to the next closing and buy your next house with those proceeds. Now you are just going to go buy that new home first. Mm-hmm. And you'll worry about proceeds when the day comes that you do sell your departing residence. The financing under the previous format was set. You came in with proceeds, you had ended up with a $600,000 loan, you're going on your way, or whatever it was, a $1.4 million loan. Now that financing is only going to that's going to occur after you sell your home and you go and do your rate and term refinance with proceeds in hand from the sale of your property. You're paying down the loan that I gave you to get into the home, which is a lot more than you wanted to borrow, but this is what you borrowed to get into that home temporarily. Now it's time to get your finances in order with the loan amount that you're comfortable with going long term. And that's when you'll apply the proceeds to pay down to that point, and then the rate and term refinance occurs. And now that's where your mortgage payment will be set for the next, 15, 20, 30 years.
One thing to add, any fees you pay up front to acquire a mortgage of any kind, broker fee, Chris's fee, at the time that you close, that they are tax deductible. So it's going to cost you a little less than you think because you're going to save on taxes, assuming you itemize. So that's something to keep in mind. It'll help defray the cost a little bit, but it's something. Mm-hmm. So this is extra cost to get it done. But the fact is you couldn't do it the other way, or it'll make more sense. Selling your house empty will get you more money. So in the end, you're saving money by doing it this way. But talk to your real estate and mortgage professionals, go over this, make it a plan just to be able to do it right so you don't have problems down the road.
I can see it being very valuable also for not having to worry about moving out of your house. You can just move from one house to the next without having to put yourself in storage or renting a house.
Correct. Yeah. Don't have to deal with that multiple move. And it's just the stress level. What that is paying off for you is amazing.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, anything else to add? I mean, this has been great.
No. Again, I can't thank you both enough for getting me exposed like this, and in a nice way.
Okay, that was a weird sense.
I hope that it drives more business your way as well, Fred.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope it does too. And don't be scared. And, anybody can ping us and schedule a Google Meet at arrivva.com/talk, and let's go over the details of it. Happy to have a discussion.
All right. And I look forward to fulfilling that for you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much. That was super informative. I was so glad he was able to come in and explain this really just valuable offer.
Yeah.
Or valuable tactic to get you in a home in a hot market.
We have been very successful with this product. It only takes like 24 hours for them to underwrite the file. It's really quick. It's really nice. So kind of do this at the last minute. What happens is I'll get clients that come in, make 2 or 3 offers and get their doors blown in, wise and cash offers. And then they see, hey, we better be a cash offer. And we better go to this price. So, it just makes sense at some point where it's like, let me say this. Clients either come all in and say, yeah, we're going to buy, or they're like, this is nuts. I'm out of here. And it's happened. I mean, you generically see or read things about the market and you look at the house and say, oh, this is a nice house and it's listed for $2 million. Well, we'll offer 2.3 and be really aggressive, and it ends up going for 3.5 for cash. And they say, no, I'm not paying 3.5 for these houses. But that's Cupertino, that's Belmont, that's San Carlos, that's San Francisco now. Hillsborough, Palo Alto, Atherton, Mountain View, Los Altos Hills, Los Gatos, Saratoga. As you can see, I'm telling you just about the entire peninsula. And I'm picking out the places that have good school districts. So that's what's really going on right now, this minute. So, if you want to get into it, the product's there to do it. That's a good thing. Now, let's go into something a little bit different. I want to warn people about. You're hearing about these guys are out there now. What they do, they have these nice commercials about you can get your home equity and not make any mortgage payments. Do, the improvements to your house and blah, 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 blah. It sounds so sweet and nice and easy. But the reality is, number one, these guys are not licensed, and they should be by the National Mortgage Licensing System. They're basically going to give you, let's say, $100,000 but they're going to do it as a shared equity situation. So within 10 years, roughly, and all of them are a little bit different, you have to pay them off or refinance them, but it ends up being way over a 20% interest rate if you calculate what you're going to have to pay them back. It's usury money. It is awful. It is expensive. And they have disclosures, but they bury them. So it's really, really, really important to not go with these clowns, because that's what they are. They're there to rip you off. But it's only an absolute last resort if you can't qualify for a credit line or a second mortgage that's fixed, or a new first mortgage where you can get the cash out. But be extremely careful with these programs. So, and they're there to like make it sound like the greatest thing in the world, for advertising purposes, but they're really scary. Friend of the show, Wendy Gilch, she actually testified in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the state about these characters.
Oh, really?
And they were there, saying, oh, yeah, this is not a problem. They were just full of it. They were trying to make every stupid case of why they don't need to be regulated. When somebody, has to defend the fact that they don't need to be regulated, means they need to be regulated. You don't get put up in front of a House committee in a state house because you did the right thing. It's, they're doing the wrong thing and they're just making ridiculous amounts of money from it. So there was this old thing years ago that actually was good. It was called a shared equity mortgage from FHA. And they would say, okay, let's say you have a friend or your parents and they're willing to put up the down payment, which was 3% roughly, 2.5%, 3.5%, something like that back then. And then they would share in the equity in the property with you, but you'd still have to qualify to make the mortgage payment. So this helped you get cash. It's actually a great theoretical program, and then you have your own deal with your cousin, your parents, your friend, who's giving you the money. But they canceled that program in the 80s or the early 90s, somewhere around it. But these guys are trying to take that and just rip people off with it. So I wanted to make sure everybody knows about it and get it out there.
That's a good public service announcement.
There you go. There was one other thing I wanted to cover.
We're talking about Apple opening up in Culver City.
Okay. Hinchin, Los Angeles, West Side buyers, especially if you're like $1 million to $2 million. Good stuff is going off the market pretty quick with multiple buyers. Why? Apple. It's all Apple's fault. No, they're building a nice facility in Culver City, brand new. I don't know how many people they're bringing on. Obviously, people can try to check. But it seems like the people who are going to be working there don't live here now. They're coming from other places. So what they've done is now they're people who are getting paid well, want to buy property. So they're adding to the number of buyers generically from that. I think it's right near Robertson and Culver City, kind of like the very north end of where the downtown is, right around there. So you spread out there. We got people as far as the beach, Venice, Playa del Rey, even. I mean, all the way down where they're going to be buyers. Del Rey, Mar Vista, obviously Culver City. The two Culver Cities, as I call them, the one that has the Culver City School District and the one that's the LAUSDA School District, which is also busy. All these areas. Westchester, something went off the market, on and off the market in 3 days in Westchester. Wow. Yeah, exactly. That's, in case you don't know, kids, that's right near the airport. So, unfortunately, Apple has increased prices here in Los Angeles because of them relocating and having people there going to an office. So you see how the dynamics of living based on your company where you have to go to an office or don't have to go to an office has really changed each individual market.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So So thanks to Apple, prices are going up. And here's some advice. If you see a property, you love a property, somebody else is going to love that property too. Have a fully underwritten pre-approval. I've only said that 20 million times. Maybe even get a approval for what Chris's program is, where you're now a cash buyer, and then make that offer right away. A lot of these agents, they don't have offer dates. They don't even put it in the MLS that, hey, we'll accept offers as they come. They don't put anything. So that's why, you go see it, you contact me, I'll contact the agent, see what's going on. Sometimes they say, oh, we already have 8 offers. It's like, wow. Okay. Yeah. So act fast, be prepared, act fast. Those are the 2 most important things.
Especially in a hot market. And also, I guess, stay in tune with the local business journals and news and see what companies are coming into your area. You might get notification that, here in Carlsbad, we have Viasat. It's the leading employer here, but, we also have Titleist and Callaway. But if they were to set up another like satellite plant here, it's going to definitely impact prices.
Without a doubt. They have Nike Golf set up there. Yeah. I mean, it's who's going to be there? How much are they going to make? What are their salaries? How many of them are there? How many are going to buy? I mean, you get kind of a generic idea. But yeah, it's crazy. Set yourself up on an AI agent to remind you to find on the web in your city that you want what companies are coming there, how many employees are they going to bring, and when are they going to open? Hey, there's an AI agent for you.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, well, let me give you an idea just of one thing we're going to eventually get to. So we work at a Slack channels, and what I say to people is, hey, if you have a property you're interested in, Slack it. Then I go to the multiple listing service. I try to find the link to the downloads for disclosures and inspections, or maybe there's none. Maybe you got to send an email to the agent to ask them for it. Maybe there's agent to agent notes about offer dates and stuff like that. So I want the AI to go in there and do all that work for me, but it's got to be perfect. It's got to work right. And then throw everything back into the Slack channel and be able to send you reminders of when offers are due and things like that. So that's kind of what we're working towards, to automate the Slack channels for the mundane stuff. And then I can spend the time talking to you about how, the idea of what to do for an offer or why you do certain things. So that's the goal.
That's our perfect use for it.
Yeah, because the idea is we want to give you our brain for things that we can't do AI with, but I want to have the AI do everything else. So that's what we're trying to move to. And that's what makes us different. There's another reason compared to your basic 2.5% agent at a big brokerage who has a Gmail account. That drives me crazy, by the way. Gmail, Yahoo, AOL.com, Verizon. If your agent has one of those accounts, that means it's probably not end-to-end authentication. And so if you're sending over private information, it could go wherever, whenever. Don't use an agent who doesn't have a corporate email that's got encryption on it.
Sure.
Okay. So, I mean, you're still going to do it in the end because you like Susie, but Susie is a digital idiot. And it's cause problems for you. It drives me crazy because it also, you send emails to these agents, it goes to spam because everything goes to spam. Because everything is spam when it goes to AOL. But really, an AOL account, 2026, it's
routine observation on the show. I think on that note, we have finished this latest episode of We Fixed Real Estate.